Tropical storm Sara is causing dangerous flooding rains in Central America. Good morning, I'm Mike Naso with the Saturday morning video update on the tropics. We thought there was a chance we'd have a strong hurricane in the Western Caribbean, kind of meandering out here over water, and then maybe taking a track up towards Cuba and Florida. It appears that there was enough ridging to push it much further south. So while it looks like it won't be able to become a strong hurricane, that also means it's torrentially raining right over Central America, causing a lot of flooding problems. Look at this satellite loop of Tropical Storm Sara the last 36 hours. This has not moved, and that is a lot of danger for areas of Honduras and Belize, Guatemala, and regions nearby. Here's the latest on Tropical Storm Sara. It is at 16.1 north, 86.3 west. Winds are 45 miles per hour, so Sara's a low to moderate range tropical storm. Because of its close proximity to land and its large, sprawling nature, it's not going to strengthen into a hurricane, and certainly not the strong hurricane we thought it might a couple of days ago. However, notice this motion. Stationary. Sara is not moving. And this slow motion is causing a very, very serious flood risk. Now, we should eventually see a westward motion very slowly, bringing it ashore sometime Sunday in Belize, and then it should dissipate over the Yucatan Peninsula or in the Bay of Campeche. However, before that time, it's going to cause a lot of problems. We do have tropical storm warnings from the Mexican coast all the way through Belize, the coastline of Guatemala and Honduras, and all these islands here, all feeling tropical storm force winds, especially in gusts, from Sara. But the big danger is the rainfall. Now here's the exact center of Sara on this map, and you can see it's very, very close to where it would be making landfall along the coastline of Honduras. Right there. So it's right on the edge. However, because it's weak, the rainfall is what matters here. It's not so much the winds, but how heavy the rain can be. Here's a look at the satellite imagery, and again, the center is right in this region here. Most of the heavy thunderstorms are far away, which is bad news because that means they're over land, raining like mad. And I don't see any sign as of 4 a.m. Eastern Time Saturday morning of this thing really moving. It didn't move yesterday, it didn't move last night. It's really just kind of sitting here stationary. Like I said, we should eventually see it move into Belize, but if it continues to stall like this, that is very, very bad news for rainfall. How much rain? Oh, 30 inches or more along the Honduran coastline and inland, to say nothing about the heavy rainfall from Quintana Roo all the way down through Belize, 8 to 12 inches, locally higher amounts. So you could have 10, 12, 20, 30 inches of rain, and that is just a horrible flood risk with this tropical storm. So the key messages this morning from the National Hurricane Center on Sara. Number one, through early next week, heavy rainfall from Tropical Storm Sara will cause potentially catastrophic flash flooding and mudslides over portions of northern Honduras and elsewhere across Belize, El Salvador, and eastern Guatemala, western Nicaragua, and the Mexican state of Quintana Roo. Heavy rainfall will cause significant and life-threatening flash flooding and mudslides. Finally, tropical storm force conditions are expected along portions of the northern coastline of Honduras, the Bay Islands, the Caribbean coast of Guatemala, the coast of Belize, and portions of the coastline of Mexico. As I mentioned, those tropical storm warnings in effect. But the main threat is the flooding. Could be really, really bad. There's the information in Spanish. For somebody who tracked hurricanes like me when I was a kid, when I was 10 years old in late October 1998, we had this storm. This is Hurricane Mitch's track. And Hurricane Mitch was a very, very dangerous, intense Category 5 hurricane. It started down in the southwest Caribbean and it moved very slowly to the west. Became a Category 5 hurricane. Very impressive. Look at this satellite imagery of Hurricane Mitch. Look at what a monster. But it was over water. That was wonderful. It was away from land. These Category 5 winds were not on the coast. As the storm got closer and closer to Honduras, land interaction weakened it. Obviously, it was no longer a Category 5 hurricane. It came ashore as a low-end Category 1, but the wind speed didn't matter with the rainfall, and the rains flooded Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and Central America so badly that 12,000 people were killed. Mitch was the deadliest hurricane in the Atlantic since the Great Hurricane of 1780. Literally 218 years. That's pretty bad. This is what we're seeing so far in Honduras from Tropical Storm Sara. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to be another Hurricane Mitch, because Mitch was a very, very rare record-breaking deadly hurricane, but the fact that this thing is still sitting and spinning is cause for concern when you see pictures like that. So we'll continue to watch Sara very carefully. It won't become a hurricane, and it certainly won't be a strong hurricane if it did, but it looks like it's going to remain a low-end tropical storm until it moves into Belize, but it needs to move first. And the longer it sits here spinning, sprawled out over the Western Caribbean, the more flood risk we'll see for areas of Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, and Central America. Very, very dangerous threat of flooding, ongoing flooding, from Tropical Storm Sara. I'm Mike Naso with this Saturday morning update. Stay tuned for the latest on this dangerous flood threat to Central America.